This is our copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. And yes, we are at the shop, Sky's the Limit Smoke Shop / Skate Shop, East Los Angeles. It's Bigfoot Dwarf, Northern California, Southern Oregon Bigfoot Project. This is kind of weird. I see the mic is working, but my headphones aren't picking up audio. It's kind of weird. It happened last time when we did the show with Paranormal Paul, but we're going to go ahead and drop this intro. Silent intro still. I still need to remix this remixed intro. What's up? I see somebody in the chat there. Let me get my camera ready. And we'll jump in the chat in a second. Let's see who's here. Yo, 40 Deuce 1BB4. Right on, you hear me? Roger that. Isaac, cheers to you, brother. Hope you're well. Hope everybody's doing well today. It's Friday. We made it to the weekend. What up? I got bro in the shop right now, I think. So we're gonna go ahead and rock this live, hang out for a bit. No pressure. Just gonna be chilling. What up, Russell? Yeah. Quite a bit to talk about. I guess we'll see. We'll see what we get into. It's kind of weird not being able to hear myself. I don't know what's been happening. Maybe I need a new cord here too. You know, we had to fix this mic cord last time. Luckily, when I got this audio face, I got the Rode, what is it? The Rodecaster Duo. When I got it, it came with I got it with two mics just in case we needed to interview someone. Hello. And so I was able to switch up the mic cord, and I think it was right before a live stream too. It was crazy. I had put this pressure on myself, and we were able to switch it up, and it worked. So maybe that's what's going on here. Also, I do travel with this stuff, so it gets bumped around a bit sometimes, but it's pretty cushiony the way I pack it. What up, Jonocide? And it's Meal 209. What up? Yeah, we bumped up a few more subscribers since we did the show with Paul. And again, cheers to Paranormal Paul and Krista for having me back on their show. So see, I could hear. Bless you, bro. See, I could hear that. I heard the applause, so that's good. I could hear the effects. I should be able to hear videos and all that, but for whatever reason, I can't hear myself. And it's all good. I'm working and driving as well. Right on. Yeah, we're on duty here. Luckily, I got backup right now. And you drive safe out there, PNW. And I see you're gonna be on with Bigfoot Fades. I set my notification for that, and I'll be sure to share that over on my platforms and stuff. I'm excited to see you on. I don't think I've seen you on anyone else's shows. So what up, Flat Rock Land? And there's Brother Jonocide. I don't know if Brother Jonocide is working as well. He does driving. You do driving also, right, Jonocide? I know you're always driving a lot. Andrew Gnomes and Trucking's always driving all over the country. And sometimes he stops by nearby around here, but it's just hasn't lined up for us to meet. But one day I have a feeling we'll meet. Gnome Drew, I call him. And yeah, we got some new reports off the Bigfoot mapping project. We'll get into that. One out of Oregon. And then there was one I seen out of Utah. It was weird. It had an orange color, but it kind of had a green color, like a new report. And I read the report briefly. It wasn't long. And I noticed I didn't remember it. So maybe we haven't read it. We'll go ahead and read that. And it looks like another report out in Europe. Yeah, we'll have a look. We haven't read any reports, Bigfoot reports from Europe, I don't think yet. So, and it's a blue one, so that means it's been there a while. It must have snuck up on us. And we'll have a read on that too, if we remember. We got to remember to go to Europe. I think it was looking like France or something like that. Maybe it's up in the Pyrenees. Who knows? Forest friend, how's it going? Thin Lizzy, I just read your message. What's up, carnalita? It's good to see you. You've been MIA, or at least I haven't seen you. Maybe you've been dodging me, but I just got your message, and it was a super cool message. Seriously, right before we went live, I was like, "Oh, super!" I've responded back to it. So yeah, then Lizzie said she was thinking of the dwarf, and all of a sudden she got I guess I don't know if you were scrolling or how you got it, but she got earlier this morning we posted a shorts vid, and it was of the speed chase the other day we had going on here, which was pretty crazy. I didn't hear any updates or any follow-up to that. Yeah, it's just one of those. It happens a lot like that too. A lot of them don't get broadcasted or reported to like news stations. And also talking to speed chases, we had a couple the other night. We had one as soon as we were shutting down the studio and the shop here, which was super cool. Thanks to Tina C. And good looking, all you who have alerted me of such things or such happenings. And sometimes we could catch them live. That's always cool. Just a notification, right on. At least that's working. Hopefully some more people will get notified of this stream and y'all could come through and kick it. Yeah, it's Friday. The weekend is here. Yeah, it's toned down a bit in temperature out here. You know, we maxed out at 85 degrees. That was, I think, on Tuesday. And yesterday it kind of started tapering down. Today's a little cooler. I hear there's rain in the future. I don't know. We should maybe have a look since things are cooling down here. We could start getting the weather back up. We're getting into the habit of showing the weather once we go live for those that go out into places to get in a habit of doing that. It's part of the missing 411 prevention protocol. So we're going to do that. And then we're talking chases. There was a chase this morning. We missed it because we were on our way here, or maybe we were sleeping. I don't know what time it was, but it was this morning out of LA County, I believe, out in the valley, San Fernando Valley. Yeah, the SFV. And it was a Tesla. Yeah, we've seen Teslas before in some of these chases. So we'll check that out. And why don't we just go ahead and kick it off with the weather? See what it's looking like out here in Boyle Heights. Actually, we could claim both since we're on the border here. We love our customers on both sides, East LA and Boyle Heights. So it's all love out here until something happens. But anyway, there we go. 71. So not too bad. And yeah, there's this silvery haziness to the sky. It's probably some of the, sky farts they're still spraying out there. They were heavily spraying yesterday. And we could check out the rest of Cali. Most of them, the temperatures there on the side are from Northern Cali. Mainly Humboldt. Yeah, Garberville 64, Trinidad 57, SF. There's the Bay Area. Yay area. What up? Yay area. Where you at? 65. Probably cloudy too. Weaverville 60, Trinity County. Chico. Hey, Chico. Hey, chica. Ivy. Ramirez. ¿Qué onda, chica? Sharon. What's up, chica? Cheers to you, Sharon. Welcome on in. We're going to hang out for a little bit. Look, there's Juliana McGill. What up? Farm hard, Juliana, like Wildman says. If y'all don't know Wildman, look him up at the sovereign cosmic Wildman. He's always in a gassy situation. Let's see if we could cue that one up quick. Yep. Where you at? Wildman, this one's for you, bro. He'll enjoy that when he watches later. Sunny actually says forest friend. She's probably going to go hang out with her forest friends. Yeah. She's always finding stick structures. She's got something going on there. So Chico was that Butte County. It's pronounced Butte, folks, not Butt County. There's Jeff Abiyar. Jeff Abiyar. I need to practice. Sometimes I hesitate saying your last name, Jeff, just because I was saying it wrong so many times. And I feel embarrassed. But anyway, welcome, brother. Hope you have the day off, the weekend off. If not, hopefully you could hang out. And there's General Sorrow. Salute to you, sir. The shop is open. Come on through, folks. Shop with us. Still got to fix our online. We do have a website, but you can't actually shop there. It's kind of weird. Gonna have to have bro. Maybe this year we'll fix things up. Yeah, you ever want to slide through? I know the homie Todd Samples from Bigfoot Wilderness Research, and salute to him as well, was asking the name of the shop. I think he was saying he has a buddy with the shop somewhere out here too. Not this type of shop, some other sort of business, but yeah, I think he wanted us to link up, maybe art or something like that. Arcada 60, miss you, Arcada, and Willow Creek. Yeah, that's probably where Bigfoot's chilling at right now. Let me tell you, at a chill 63. Yeah, what's your temps like? You know, we get them from all over the place in the chat, from Alaska to you name it. All right, let's pop out of here. Thank you, weatherman. You know, we have a weatherman out here in SoCal. He's been around a long time, by the name of Dallas Rains. Dude's always got the the solar tent. What do you call that when you go tan at those places? Not the sun tan, but the get in that machine. He always looks like he's got a great tan. So yeah, let's get into this speed chase. It wasn't long, so this is still fresh, folks. It's still steaming. Feel free to put the poopy emojis up. Yeah, what up? And then we're gonna go. We can't forget to go through our our stuff here. In case you want to shop with your boy, come through online. So we do have some online options for shopping. And I know that's tiny, but that's myspreadshop.com. So, and that's the shop's Instagram, folks. We're slowly growing there. We're at like almost 4K or something like that. If you're an Instagrammer, if you're a grammer, if you're on the gram, come on through and give us a follow. We'd appreciate it. I don't know if bro's been too active over there with posting, but he was. There's some content there for you to consume. BD's hotline. Ladies. Yeah, pilled. I'm getting a little feedback over there. You know, people check things out there, it seems like. And we are also up on Upscroll now. Is that what it's called? Upscroll. I got to make a little tab for the Upscroll link. That's the Twitch there. And we are live on Twitch now. Hopefully someone's over there biting. Maybe someone's checking it out. Rumble, we might get a few people up in the stream there. Can you make people moderators over there? You could, right? I got to figure that out. And that is Rumble. You can find me over there. I know a lot of people have been migrating that way too, having that as a backup, which is smart. And yeah, I got to get more active and post other things there, as well as the Twitch eventually, because it's all blank there. What do we got here? Kick. Boom. Just don't kick the can. And of course, don't forget to subscribe. We did drop in numbers and then we bumped back up after Paranormal Paul's show. If you didn't peep that show, check it out. That was a fun one. had a couple customers after hours trying to get me to come open up shop, and I was like, can't, bro. And we went ahead with it, and I was afraid of that, and that could happen now. So a heads up, we are still on duty, but I got bro with me, so we got a little backup for now, and maybe we'll get through some of the stuff I want to get into. We'll get into these Bigfoot reports in a second, and there might be some other cryptid activity since we're heading up to Oregon. We'll check out another site that focuses on other cryptids as well as Bigfoot. And we did do a reading out of Southern California. It was a couple Dogmen. It was a Dogman report. And again, we don't do that much here, but why not? If it's good, if I feel if it rings, if it got the vibe that it's got some truth to it, we'll bring it to you. And if it's hella bogus, we'll bring that to you also. We should be like this on the bigger screen. Sorry. So you gotta stay on top of different things. Like I should be pulling up the monitor right now so we could check out the live stream. Maybe we'll set up a goal. Again, we're hanging out, y'all. We're chilling. We're gonna do our try and do our typical show. We never know where the stream's gonna take you. It could take you into murky waters and things start happening. I had to eject on one of the last streams, had to cut it short. I didn't want to cut it short, but things started happening. I was like inside of the shop here. So I was like, let me just handle that. We had done like an hour and a half, I think. Or was it a half hour? I don't remember, but whatever. Let's see. Here we go. Can we tap into it? Yes, we could. So we're in the chat there. We're going to try this. We're going to set a goal here. Why not? Let's see. All right, 1 second, timer. Let's see. We'll do 2 hours, depending. Never know. How will I celebrate? We will twist tree. We will twist tree as celebration. All right. I think I got this. That work? We're trying something here, folks. Dang it, I lost the chat. Let me pull y'all up right quick. There we go. Did that work? Nope. Almost. All right. There it is. I think we got something going there. And what up? What up, brother Nighthawk? Salute to you. Main House 25 is in the house as well, chilling. Who else snuck in here? And I'm not reading the chat right now, folks. Gave you a shout out on ECBRO last night, BD. Salute to you, Nighthawk. You know what? I was just going to say, I snuck in at the last moment, the last little bit of ECBRO, and I got a link with them. I thought he had sent me a message on Facebook, and I don't do Facebook, but it's weird because I had made a page. I got to find out if someone's impersonating me over there or something, because, yeah, it's weird. I've had some weird people ask me some things about Facebook. I'm like, dude, I'm not over there. But I think he tried sending a message one time, and yeah, hopefully if he's listening to this, or maybe brother Nighthawk will relay the message. And I know he's hung out at Nikki's Sasquatch Secrets, and I've known of him a long time. I've been subscribed a long time, so I'm very familiar with him. And so right at the end, they were giving you a shout out also, brother. So I seen I think it was Richie B and Mojo, the guys, I forget the name of their crew, but I think he's on live actually right now too. Those guys are from the East Coast, Northern East Coast, and I seen those guys were on, and you in the chat there. It was crazy right at the end of that. So funny that you mentioned that. I appreciate that, brother. And yeah, it'd be cool to talk to him. Never been on ECBRO. And let's see, anything else? Yeah, so we're how do we start this? Damn. All right, maybe we'll save that for the end. We do have a chase, and we got to keep an eye out for any other chases that may be happening today since it's Friday. So I'll keep an eye out here. And yeah, let's go ahead and rock these reports while we can, while we have bro here and there isn't any major interruptions. Yeah, so if you're new here, we've been reading lately, maybe for the past maybe almost a year, a little less, reading Bigfoot reports from different websites, and this is a good one to check out. I always got to shout it out, Bigfoot Mapping Project. And you can see there's a different colored whoops. Of course, hit stop sharing. Come on, bro. The different colors are mean different things. And green is usually the freshest report. And so most of those blue ones around the United States there, we've reported on recently. And then I mentioned about a Utanian one out of Utah. That was actually, it's orange. You can see orange, but earlier it had a green, like a greenish, like even compared to this Colorado one, is completely orange. This one had some greenish to it. So I was like, did we read that report or not? It was weird. So we could get that one off really quick since we're talking about it. So just in case, we may have read this already. So heads up. But this is 2226. So there's your 3 2s, 1034. And they say it's an 8.5 footer. 8.5 footer male, and it did vocalize. Whoops, let's see here. Tapping stuff over here. So it did vocalize. Very interesting. And it says it was terrifying, and terrifying in all caps, no cap. Once it saw me, it chased me for roughly 10 minutes. That's a hell of a long time. Before we heard a car, and then it wrapped back into the forest. I ran to the road and got lucky enough for a car to be driving by. Wow. It saw me and picked me up. I wonder how that conversation went. Yes, and there were footprints. Footprints. And heads up, we have background noise as we have customers coming in. We do have the TV on as well. AC is on. Yes, the AC is on. Brown with a cinnamon stomach. Wow. That's a unique description there. I haven't heard anything like, I've heard different tones and stuff like that, but it said brown with a cinnamon stomach. That's a trippy one. That's worthy of whipping out. The giant red note pencil. I do got a few notes set up here to help guide this ship today. And so, yeah, very interesting. Utah there. And let's zoom in. It looks like northern Utah. And I don't see any other squatches in the area. So it doesn't look like any other reports from this immediate location. But I do see it looks like Dugway Proving Ground. So I don't know if anyone's familiar with that. It looks pretty deserty out there. I don't see much green. And you can see the color actually turned blue there. So it was orange. It's weird sometimes. There it goes, orange, blue, orange. And like I said, it was kind of greenish earlier, and that's why we're reading it. And who the heck was driving by at that time? They were lucky. You see a lot more reports over here by this big highway, the Uinta National Forest. And we did read some reports out of Utah recently. But we're gonna head over to the West Coast. Someone said the best coast. Don't get mad, East Coasters. It's all love. No, I love the East Coast as well. Been to a few places and can't wait to head back and explore more. I'd love to explore the rest of this country. I've only been to a few different states, and Oregon being one of them. Definitely lived there. Hence, the name of the group I'm not only the president of, but or no, yeah, I'm not only a member, but I'm the president also. Only member and only president, yes, of the NorCal Southern Oregon Bigfoot Project. Yes, sir. I've talked to you about Ice Age. He's a customer here. That's who you hear in the background. So he's on his way out. So it'll get quiet here in a second. But we've been talking about some reports on the California side of things. And Del Norte County, to be exact. Yeah, I'm putting it out there more. So y'all hear about these counties up there that a lot of people, most Californians don't even know about Del Norte County. So unless you're up that high up in California, but just right across the border from Del Norte County, you have Oregon. Yep. It's all love. Love it up there. And so we're going to drop the man, drop el hombre. And right away, I see some familiar areas. I see Cave Junction off to the left. And not to mention all the other squatches. Look at that. You got yellow ones, you got orange ones, there's red ones, there's green ones. I'm sure there's black, brown, ones with cinnamon bellies and brown. And they run around town and in the outskirts. So this is going to be exciting. So yeah, I'm familiar. Let's see. I've never been to I don't know. Let's see. There's Selma. So we'll keep that in mind. So right above Cave Junction, and darn it, I was going to pull up maybe a web page for that little museum. There's a little museum inside a Xerox place. I always bring it up. And that's where I bought Henry, the Sasquatch, who hangs out outside of the shop there, who's practically almost missing a foot. Yeah, his foot always gets caught on the gate of the window, the security gate, and he's lost several digits. He's down to one toe on one of the feet. So we're going to have to get a replacement or do some serious surgery. And let me scroll the chat over here just in case. Oh, Jeff Albiar got 5 on it. I know he does. Heck yeah. He took on the challenge of the goal. And this is why I got the yeah, let me tap that thumbs up. Come on, people. There's more people in the chat. I see like it says there's 17. Y'all didn't thumb up Jeff putting 5 on it. Let me see. I think I could hit that heart too. Cool. All right, I'm interacting. Yes, Bigfoot banter with Richie B from the East Coast. Yeah, they seem like some serious dudes. I don't know if I'd go out squatching with them. Yeah, you got to be very careful who you go squatching with. And Ben, if you're listening, congratulations on getting a new thermal. Yeah, buddy Ben, who I haven't met in person, but he, yes. He scored a new thermal imager. Yeah, he was asking me, hey, what's up with the FLIRs? I was like, bro, people have like kind of graduated from the FLIRs. I still have one because I got it like almost 10 years ago. It's crazy to think. About 9 for sure, but might be 10. And people have kind of upgraded from that, right? But I still have it thanks to Garrow, who refurbished it for me. Yes, Garrow from Midwest Night Watchers. I sent him my FLIR. He's like, yeah, bro, I could do stuff like this. And he hooked it up, threw in a new battery, and it was good to go. So I keep it for extra. You know, anyone needs an extra thermal out in the field, which happened this last time we were out in the field. And bless you, bro. Uh, we're able to share some of the gear, so that's always cool. You know, it sucks if you don't have gear. You're out there at night and you wish you could see, and everyone else has some sort of night ops, some sort of gadget to be able to see something, and you don't. You're wondering, you're hearing especially when stuff starts happening. You're like, oh, you know, you hear that, you see something there, and then all you can see is dark. So anyway, yeah, let's get into this report. So Cape Junction, Kirby. Hey, Kirby. What you doing, Kirby? Tickle the algorithm. Aesop Rock, Kirby. Cat lovers, check it out. Look it up. And there is Selma, which rings a major bell. And yes, the Stan Avery case with him on Flash of Beauty talking about the Charles Levy case, should I say. So Stan Avery talking on the Charles Levy case. And I know a lot of you, just a disclaimer, this is going to be quite gruesome. That case was really gruesome the way, and Charles Levy was an actor living in the Southern Oregon area. We touched on this case as well. It became a missing 411 case. Dave Politis touched on it and several others. But Flash of Beauty did an awesome interview with Stan Avery, and he got into the details of, you know, what he felt and heard from locals and what he knew of this case in Southern Oregon here. And it just blew my mind. You know, people talk about the LBL massacre and stuff like that, whether that's true or not. I've questioned that. But people like to hear gory details. People like horror. And, you know, let's face it, you know, and I try to balance that these days. But as a youth, you know, I was watching Faces of Death and, you know, crazy stuff like that, Traces of Death, and you name it. What's up, brother? But not so much these days. But now with online, you can see some gory stuff too, and it's got to be careful. But yeah, so I'm still into it. Don't get me wrong. But anyway, this case has those details. So if you want to check that out, if you missed it, maybe when we did a stream and touched on it, go and check that out as well. Check out the previous streams, folks. Trust me, there's some nuggets, different types of nuggets up in there. From turds to gold. Yeah, so Southern Oregon does get Bigfoot activity. It seems like California, Northern California gets most of the activity. Kind of seems the same way according to submitted reports and databases, that the northern part of Oregon also has more activity than the southern part. Clackamas County, we talk about that. It's like Humboldt County to California with the amount of Bigfoot reports and activity. Got Bigfoot fades up that way, right? You're in Clackamas. Other people, well-known people like Tom Powell. You know, I believe he was last in Clackamas. I don't know if he's still there. What else? A bunch of stuff in Clackamas County, Bigfoot related and other weird stuff. So definitely a place in my notes on my list that I want to hit. So let's get into this report here and see what it says. Oh, we've got a beetle. So I may have clicked the diamond. We're gonna double click. This happened to us last time. Let's see if we get the report. Nope, that's some foliage. Come on, give us the Bigfoot report. There it is. It pulled up. So keep an eye out, folks, when you are looking at this Bigfoot mapping project, that could happen sometimes. So I guess those little diamonds are different little things. It could be bugs, insects, birds, plants. And so very interactive map there. And of course, the Squatches are Squatch reports. And here it is, 6/11/16. So a bit of a throwback. 6:08. I like how they got the 08 in AM. No height, no sex, no vocalization either. So it says, my husband and I were camping at Cave Creek Campground. Jot down those names of places. Near Oregon Caves, and which is another thing to jot. That's a big landmark in the area there. And, you know, people have talked about Bigfoots possibly being in caves, that they use cave systems, maybe to travel, maybe to live in. I don't know. Why not? Yeah, you know, but I do question, because this comes up a lot with the missing 411 map being overlaid over the cave systems and it matching. I do question that. I don't buy it. I ain't buying it. Not yet. But this is interesting to have these cave systems and in this part of Southern Oregon, and a lot of Bigfoot activity there. I've heard of reports in the past. Some of you may be already, if you're really deep into the Squatch topic, will this area should be ringing bells if you're into different investigators and researchers and experiencers. There's a famous one from this area of Oregon, and we will probably get into that. And so, yeah, they were near this campground, Cave Creek, near the Oregon Caves, or they were at this campground, Cave Creek, near the Oregon Caves, and had woken up early to go on a cave tour. Cool. Yeah, I've never been. I've driven up that way and checked out an area, and I was with my son at the time, and we wanted to go further. And there was a bit of snow, but it had, most of the snow had melted off. But what we noticed on the road up that way, there was a bunch of fallen trees. We were driving over some of them, but then it became so many that we just knew we weren't going to be able to make it through. So I don't know if a storm had just came by, or if it's like that's a normal thing for that area after winter or towards the end of winter. But I felt it was a little suspicious. I'm like, dude, looks like someone's trying to roadblock us here. And we got the message. We're like, you know what? Let's just turn around. But we did do a little pull out and quick little check of the area. Super cool. But yeah, haven't made it to the caves quite yet. And it's definitely another thing on the list here. And it says, my husband was packing up the tent and I was at least 30 feet away behind the car. I thought it my head. So I think they meant to say, I thought in my head. So I thought it my head. Bigfoot, if you want to make yourself known, I am ready to see you. Ha. All right, here we go. Challenging the Squatch. All right, we're ready for you, Bigfoot. And that's what I thought when that whole tent thing happened. I was like, nope, I ain't getting out of my tent. This weird light, it's got me in my sleeping bag. So he says, I'm ready to see you. I'm sorry if I get scared. It isn't personal. And at that exact moment, my husband ran towards me and accused me of throwing a rock at him. Oh, no, here we go. You gotta hit it. Oh, Bigfoot. You know, they say they are pranksters, tricksters. I immediately had chills knowing Bigfoot is it says no, but I believe it's meant to say known to throw stones and not at glass houses. And he showed me where it landed. We were 15 feet from the creek, which is the creek notes water source, which is the direction the stone came from, but we didn't see or hear anything. We packed up our car and drove through the campsite, and there was no one else there. Oh, whoa. Got a rock chucked at you, buddy. Yes, there were footprints. So very interesting. I wonder if they documented anything. Let's see, 2016, probably had a cell phone then. Camera, you're going camping. Super cool. And again, check out, let's see, let's just dip on over. There's a red one here closer to the caves. And this one's 8 to 18. And it says 7 feet high. As far as the height, 7 feet they estimated. I always imagine they're guesstimating, right? You go 7 feet, 7.5, or whatever you may think your eyeballs are registering. And it says pretty short here. So color, black silhouette, which I've seen before. It's that jet black that, you know, people describe almost. I heard someone recently again describe it as almost absorbing light. Might have been Brother Nighthawk. Let's see. It says driving on an old skid road, look to my left and seen a silhouette of a large creature standing there. Ooh. Whoa. Short and to the point. Yeah, that must have been scary. I wonder what time. It didn't say any time there, huh? And this one just says sighting there. So the yellow ones are maybe not that informative. Just says a date, or no, not even a date. It just refers to the BFRO, which we're going to get into some stuff actually pertaining to, again, Flash of Beauty, which I love the channel. Props to them for all the work they've been doing, all the interviews and I know they have like a side thing. There's like the Olympic Strange Days with darn Toby Johnson, right? Let's click this red one down here and let's see what it says. So no report on this one. I don't know what this is. It almost looks like a file. I wonder if we should click that. Let's read here. Date and time of sighting 10/9/24, 12:38 p.m. Vocalization, yes. Damn. No footprints, no wood knocks, and we're gonna go ahead and click this. So a heads up, we don't know what this is. We're taking a little risk here. We don't know what's gonna happen. I haven't seen any files like this, so. And it does say WTF 2. I see another 2, and it's M4A. I don't know if that's a format, and it does look like something there. All right. That was super cool. So someone shared some vocals. This is the first time we were able to do that. It was about a minute long there. I let it play. So if you're interested, I did hear something that did sound like some howls or something in the background there. It's definitely something on that audio. And yeah, what a cool little treat there. And I do see another look. So there's other speakers here. If you look down here, it looks like a speaker logo there, or a speaker like right down here also. So those might be other vocalizations that have been submitted. So just a heads up. And we could take a look too. Let's see. Oh, it says Audible, BFRO. So maybe that, it's not quite like this vocal we just checked out, but something to, look into there. You could click these speakers. Doesn't look like anything there. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on those other reports to see if they have anything added like that. I think we've seen a picture added before. It wasn't a squatch or anything like that. I think it was some random animal, but it's cool that you could do that. And so we checked out a few of the reports from that area. Again, also wanted to mention R.I.P. Yes, rest in power, rest in peace to Tom Contrell, who passed away. He was also, I had seen him on Flash of Beauty a few months back, and also seen that Bigfoot Fades was going to have him on her show, and we weren't, it was weird. We had brought him up the other night, and I was mentioning the show with Fades, and she mentioned that he wasn't in good health at the moment and wasn't sure if he was going to be pulling through. And then the following day, I seen posts from Flash of Beauty and other sources as well. Yeah, the news there of his transitioning. So yeah, may the Lord rest his soul, and thank him for his contribution to the topic. It was a trippy interview, very, very interesting. I would recommend checking it out. So yeah, I wanted to get that out there. And another thing, while we're on Flash of Beauty and we're on these reports, because we're gonna hop on out of here. We could keep going with, see, Southern Oregon does have a lot. Look at all those Bigfoots all around the place. We could go down a rabbit hole of just reports in Southern Oregon in that area of the caves. But I did pull up some other sites with some other reports from that area as well. So we'll take a look at that. But before, let's see, what were we going to do next? Yes, we were going to talk about the latest video over on Flash of Beauty. And I had mentioned before about the BFRO. So like when they post publicly, and we get the recent, they have the little link for recently added reports, which we like to read. We would like to read the latest and the freshest, and sometimes they're older reports, but just recently submitted. That those aren't, that's just for the public. That they have for their members and administrators and stuff like that. They have access to what I guess I just learned they call flats. And I know I have a buddy who actually has access to flats, and I've never seen them myself, but it'd be super cool to check out. And they say there's so many more reports in the flats, and I don't know what, how they decide which ones they want to put out publicly. And there's been talks people before of them altering certain weird reports as well. We've brought that up many a times. And we've also seen that they've also been adding some of the weird stuff. We've read a BFRO report last year with them mentioning strange lights. So I don't know. It's maybe they're making some changes there. Who knows? But we still use that as a database, and I think it's probably still number one as far as people sharing and submitting and their stuff there. So anyway, let's get into this Flash of Beauty. Their latest video. I haven't finished watching it, but it's a good one. And let's see, we're just going to play a little part of it because one of the people there being interviewed, and actually I've been fascinated with his experience and everything. I've seen other videos on that channel with him on it, explaining his journey in all this. So let's pull up this YouTube video. Let's see, here it is. And boom. All right, that worked out. So Strange Days, and this one's called Insiders. So yeah, you getting some inside scoop, and it was good. And this is just the beginning. We're just 12 minutes in. I'm like, oh yeah, we got to mention this since we've been reading these reports and stuff. So he's going to share just information about the flat. So we'll have a listen here and check that out. So heads up, boom, we're gonna enlarge that, and here we go.
I think he was trying to form something at that time on his own, and he was a BFRO member at that time, and so I became a member of the BFRO and got access to flats, you know, and then once I.
So he he as well was a member. Here we go. Now I can hear myself. There was this darn button right here. It's like, oh my God, you ever have your ears plugged and then all of a sudden, like, boom, you could hear again? That's what it feels and sounds like right now. Whoa, that sounds weird. Anyway, yeah, so he was also BFRO member, a former law enforcement officer as well. Some of you may know him. I know some of you out there know who he is. And then this is Sanya Zohar, I believe it is. I've heard of her. Name rings a bell, and she was mentioning living in the Redwoods. So I wonder where exactly she was living.
Got access to flats, and I guess really, you know, my involvement in everything that came out in the Olympic project and all that stuff was probably because of the BFRO and because of flats. Because
let's explain what the flats are real quick. I've explained a little on the show before, but what are the flats?
It's the reporting database. When you go to the BFRO website and it says if you want to make a report, it goes to flats, right? And a flats is an access
notes
only place on the internet where all these reports go. And if you can have a password to get in, which is granted by an administrator or Map Moneymaker, then you get access to go in. Most members of the BFRO have access to flats, right? But the great thing about flats is because it was established so early, it was like the first one. And it's still where the vast majority of people go that have a sighting. It's just full. I mean, what you see on the BFRO page, right, of the reports is literally probably less than 1/10 of the reports that are in flats. And for all kinds of different.
Y'all hear that? 1/10 of the reports that are on the actual public site. And Val, cheers to you. Welcome in. Thank you for hanging out. Let me check here. Boom.
Different reasons they don't get published.
Right.
And a lot of time it's because of follow through, because of the guys that sign up for them. And I was really guilty of that. I didn't publish any reports. I kind of just picked them. I was pretty selfish with what I was doing. You know, I was using flats after I got this idea because I guess I was kind of selfish in that sense that I was using it for my own benefit. I was signing up for these reports in certain areas, kind of to learn about what was going on, because I kind of jumped in and I was trying to learn really quick, as much as I could. And then we came up with this idea to, I did basically the strategy to do this camera placement. And then our benefactor, Wally Hersom, he paid for all these cameras. So we started doing it. But in general, you know, places that I was interested in, I would use flats to find them, because I would go to areas and that would have a lot of historical, you know, data with sightings and specifically stuff that was still currently going on. You know, and some of these spots had spans of 50 years worth of stuff that was happening.
Wow. What's up, Todd? How you doing, man? Shelly, welcome on in. So yeah, basically wanted to touch base today and bring up these Southern Oregon reports. And yeah, since we've been pulling up the databases, a little information on the flats. So something I learned there. Actually, I knew about that, but I didn't know they called it flats. So very interesting. And yeah, let's get out of here. Boom. Here we go. So what do we have next? I don't know. Where do we go? Let's see. So Southern Oregon, let's check out BFRO. So that'd be, I think, Josephine County near the caves there. So I mentioned a famous case from out that way. And let's see if we could pull that up right quick. Whoops. And I don't know. I haven't checked to see if anyone guessed who it may be. But let's see here. That's not it. There it is. So this is a BFRO report out of let's have a read there. Let's see. Submitted by witness, and some of you may know this name, Dr. Matthew Johnson, on Sunday. And, you know, I'll bring it up. The doc has been very controversial. Even the late sorry, I got thrown off. Got a customer in here, and it just kind of, my eyes shifted. It'll come to me right now, but they had issues, and some of you may know about it. I don't know the exact details, but I know there were some things there, and it was a trip because it was, I believe, the finale for Finding Bigfoot, and they had the town hall in Willow Creek at the park. I think it was, and we were all there. The doc was there, and Steven, here we go, Steven Strufert. Yeah, rest in peace, brother, who recently passed away. I know they had some, you know, they were clashing there and had some issues, and I get it. You know, Steve wasn't much into the woo side of things, and the doc seems completely woo. If you follow him and know about him and know about his background and his encounters and some of his experiences, and one of them was mentioned recently in our chat with Digger Dog. I don't know if Digger Dog's in the chat, but Elder Medicine Bear Claw, greetings. Seen your post. I've been checking out I finally subscribed to your channel, and I seen your post. You were headed somewhere. Someone, I was like, I think a family member having some sort of maybe back issues. And so I was, I clicked the thumbs up, but I was going to write a little something, but I was like, you know what? I'm not sure what's going on here. But in my mind, I sent out some healing vibes. So hopefully all works out there. But yeah, Matthew Johnson has been pretty controversial. You know, there's one of his encounters, and a lot of his encounters you can find online. They've been on different, did it make Monster Quest? Might have been on Monster Quest, I think. And different shows like that. And there was a time where he was with his family, and they had the sighting there with the family. I think it was him and his son. And then he developed eventually a spot in Southern Oregon, which I think might be near these caves, Soha, where, yeah, eventually I think it was someone recently who was on the recent David Paulides Bigfoot documentary. It's Adam Davies, I think, if I'm not mistaken, was there as well when supposedly this portal opened up, and these from what I remember, Ewok type being some like little Bigfoots with red eyes came out of this portal, and yeah, really strange stuff. And so he's got a pretty good big group as well that get together, and it seems like I don't know if they get together at his place. His place looks nice too, if it's his. And they have, they go out and they do things their way, and supposedly are having communication. I heard Stacy Brown recently mention of possibly visiting him as well. So that'd be super cool, especially if they got the high strangeness going on. I wouldn't doubt it. But again, you never know. He is what is he? Is he still practicing psychologist? I believe the doc. So it says location details: Oregon Caves National Park in Southern Oregon. Where to begin? Rochelle and I took our kids to the Oregon Caves National Park in Southern Oregon. We ate lunch at picnic table and then took a tour of the caves. The caves were spectacular. If you haven't seen them before, they're a must-see experience. So this is the whole report here. It seems like, and I won't read it because I've seen it before and seen it in so many different places, heard it so many times. And again, some of you may be familiar with it, and if you check it out, maybe it'll ring a bell to you. But it's a well-known encounter. But there you go, Class A, report number 678, and this was in the year 2000, summer, July 1st. So yeah, Josephine County. And what do we have here next is I wanted to take a look also because Jeremiah over at Bigfoot Society and his database, his amazing database over here. I took a look because he gets a lot of reports from Oregon, of course. And so I didn't see as many. Seems like there we go. There's Kirby, Cave Junction. And we were over here. Let's see. I was living over here in Jacksonville. There's Apple. As well. I have found some interesting tracks in that area, TP structures, different type of structures. And it was very, very close to home. So it was super cool. And actually, we could have a look at our old place up there. Notice I said old. Yeah, maybe, who knows? Might be having a new place in Oregon. I don't know. Life has just been crazy. But look, Bolin Mountain Fire Lookout. That's interesting. And according to Bigfoot Society here, it says Bolin Lake, Oregon. Witness states he experienced depressive symptoms, camper shaking, a dream. Yeah. You know, we've been popping that out. We've heard that a few times recently about dreams being mentioned, and I would just note that. Involving a Mad Max-like figures and found a perfect baby Bigfoot print. Believes he was zapped. Estimated mid-2010s. Episode 893. So I don't know what, between 2010 or so, is that what they mean by that? But yeah, that's the only one I really see for that area, which is quite surprising. You'd think you'd see more. And here is a look. Let's see. With the Google map, you can see more of the greenage. A lot of green around there. There is some dry, you do see some brown areas. There is some dry spots. It does get hot out there as well. But we do get the rain and, snow sometimes. And we could even have a look at... So yeah, look, Oregon Vortex. That's interesting. That's something else to take note of. These vortexes, these places, we have the Santa Cruz Vortex out here in California. Humboldt County, so not too far south of where we used to live and where I was basically based out of. There's one of these, I don't know if you'd call it a vortex, but it's a mystery spot. So there's the Santa Cruz mystery spot that's well known. So there's also one, and it's actually, I think, on the Mendocino side of things. It might be just right near the border of Humboldt County, but it might be on the Mendocino side of things. And I've stopped by recently and just took a look outside. I've never walked inside or took the tour. They have the I'm sure they have the house where you could like walk on the walls and all that weird stuff where it feels like you're walking sideways and all that, those weird anomalies. So something to take note of there for sure. And that's a little further north up. So I think the caves are more down here, but not that far. And then Crater Lake should be not too far from that vortex. If not, that's where it might be. Let's see. Temporarily closed. Let's see, where's Crater Lake at? I think that might be it there. Nope. It's somewhere around. It should pop up. And we could have a quick little look. Let's see. Actually, with the crib, a view from the crib. Yeah, I like to share personal videos and photos and stuff like that too when we got them. And just to give you an idea of what the area looked like. So this is from outside. Actually, my brother got to spend time with me up here too. Here's a little view from, so our backyard backed up to BLM, and this is facing the front. So across a big road there is Highway 238, and then across from us, you have hills. There's hills behind us too. So you get all the wildlife. And we did have chickens missing a few times, which was weird because our coop was closed and there's a latch and all that. I was like, how the hell? We took some videos of that. But no heavy, no sightings on the property or anything like that. No neighbors, some of the nearest stuff was up the road a little bit. And I think it was, might be able to find that in the BFRO, but Wood Rat Mountain, also someone that's kind of nearby this area as well. But just to give you a view of the terrain, and geez, I miss it. Let's see. No audio on that. Oh, whoops. Yeah, beautiful madrone trees and very hilly. People be also, what is it? Sky paragliding. You'd catch paragliders. And yeah, it looks like they sprayed or something. But yeah, to me, just I was expecting to see Bigfoot show up on the property any night. And it never really happened. But some whole other paranormal stuff. It was an old farmhouse on the property there. Some heavy paranormal stuff started happening to me. And maybe one day we will get into, I've shared briefly, I think before, but I want to get into it and share some stuff. And maybe we could find other stuff. So it's an old mining town, Jacksonville. And yeah, so a lot of hills in those areas down there, green and perfect for Bigfoot, of course. And I did mention, let's see. So I did want to pull up also the Bigfoot Encounters website to see what they got for Josephine County. And it wasn't much. Let's see. Let's have a look here. So let's go to sightings. Let's pull up Oregon. There that is. So we're going to look for Josephine County. And there's one there, 1996. So we'll have a look at that and see what it says there. This is Josephine County, Tequila, Oregon, August 1996. In August 1996, we took horses into the country south and east of Tequila, Oregon. We weren't quite back into California, but somewhere close. How I wish I had a camera and a global positioning device. I am a retired investigator dealing with insurance fraud, and I don't really fall for anything that isn't black and white or plausible. It takes something quite extraordinary for me to be at a loss for an explanation. We had finished dinner and were smoking cigars. Nice. Cheers. And pipes, tobacco, in parentheses there. Yeah, Southern Oregon. When we heard a scream from somewhere above and behind us. I have never heard anything like it. And yeah, can we get a scream here, bro? And quite honestly, it scared the hell out of us. I was with two friends who know the outdoors well. I'm not a hunter, but they are. and have been in the rough country for as long as I've been behind a desk. Neither of my friends could identify what we heard. It was quiet for about 10 minutes, and we heard it again. It seemed like the source was lower than the first time we heard it. It seemed louder. We heard nothing else, and we hit the sack. Wait, what sack? Around 9 p.m. in the morning, my friend Jack came back to our camp after a little look-see and said he had the feeling he was being watched. Yikes. Been talking about that feeling a whole lot recently. As he did his business in the brush. Uh-oh. Was it one or two, bro? That sucks. If it is two, that really sucks. And haven't even made coffee. Bummer. As we were about to, we heard something moving quickly through the heavy scrub and up the hill. We could occasionally see a brush tree limbs moving, but couldn't make out who or what it was. Al, who moved to our left, said it looked like a man, but that it was too big and fast, and he only saw it for a second. Letters are getting small on me. He said the man seemed to be hairy, but it wasn't really light yet, and there was a lot of interference. We followed and realized we could never make the kind of time that it did. Must have been moving hella fast. We smelled a horrible must stink. Interesting. Always. Yeah, we've been mentioning the stink a whole lot, but never got a good glimpse of our visitor. What amazed my partners is that branches were broken about 6 feet up and the speed with which it moved. It still won't say the word Bigfoot, or I still won't say the word Bigfoot, but I'm more of a believer now. Sincerely, NA, please don't divulge my address. All right. So Josephine County, their report 96. And yeah, I could tell you, even around Cave Junction, it feels squatchy. And I've taken that way to get to Bluff Creek as well. What is it? I don't know, one of those highways, and then you could drop down to the 96 eventually. You go through Happy Camp and all that. And a lot of areas where Bigfoot is known to roam. And I hear there's a detour, a really bad detour if you're going down that way, coming from up north, down south. I don't know where it is exactly, but might be the damn road we take. But yeah, it is a long way, but it's nice. Get in the back country there, and you know there had been some fires, and saw some evidence of that. But yeah, you know, your chance of a Squatch sighting goes way up. What's the chat saying? What up, Patrick Noble? I'm caught up in the mix here. What up, Blazer up in the house? Hillbilly right next to Blazer. That means some clouds of smoke are happening, I'm sure. You know, Blazer keeps it high. Hillbilly got the herbs. Perfect combination. Watch out, chat. Might be hotboxed. All right, let's see. What else do we got for Southern Oregon? There is a couple of things I did want to look at also before we transition on to the next thing. Let's see. We might make it to the next thing. I don't know. Maybe not. And I'll let you know why. So really quick here, we have the Bigfoot database, Bigfoot report database. Get that right. And yeah, I pulled up a bunch of stuff for Josephine County. And sure enough, there's Matthew Johnson's family encounter again. Sarah Hughes. Let's see. Green Gulch Monster, Southern Oregon. This one Illinois River, Cave Junction. Yeah, before we had moved up there, we were looking in different towns, Cave Junction area too. We were looking at different properties there. I talked about that other property we had. I don't remember the town, but I want to find out where that. On our way out, I seen the half-eaten deer that looked like he was trying to jump over a fence, but got caught, and somehow half of its back body was missing. It was only the front two legs and the head and the front part of the body. It was weird, super weird. And the property that we were looking at was awesome. It needed a lot of work, but what I liked, and it was kind of creepy, is that it had a huge hill going up and no real trees. It was more rocky. And at the top, it looked like it was like a flat, and there was these caves in there. And I was like, oh my goodness, there's got to be something in there for sure. At least mountain lion or but we didn't end up getting that place. And on the way into that place, it's a dirt road, and it had the sign for some sort of national or not national, maybe wilderness area. So I was like, this has got to be squatchy. And of course, on the way in, one of the neighbors, which were all pretty separate, had a Bigfoot cut out. So I was like, something going on around here. But for whatever reason, here's another Matthew Johnson, close encounter with a dark brown Sasquatch, Oregon caves. I don't know if it's the same one, probably. Cave Junction again, residents discover strange hair and experiences odd phenomenon. And in Cave Junction is still a distance from the actual monument place there. But still, we're still touching that general zone of Southern Oregon. I talked about also trying to pull up Applegate Lake, which is of high interest to me. I didn't get to go back ever since I did cast some prints there. The prints that I got, I recorded them. I didn't measure them on the spot, which was something I forgot to do. Someone had recently asked about that, but I'm sure we could measure the casts maybe take away a little inch or two and guesstimate. Because I would imagine with the casts, that probably adds a little bit of a little more to the measurement. But I don't know. Not a foot expert. Maybe some of you may know out there. Anyway, so another website we've been pulling up is Project Darkwood Cryptid, and we read some it was a Dogman report out of the Southern Cali area, and I figured because the site's got these little dog prints, or if it's a Loch Ness, like this one has a bird, it looks like, up in Mount Shasta. So there's one up in the Crater Lake area there. And so we were down here, so near Ashland. I was trying to find Crater Lake earlier. You could see, I think it was a little less than 2-hour drive to get to Crater Lake from our place. And so yeah, we're gonna kind of switch gears here. I'm gonna take it like these are Dogman reports. So, and the Crater Lake area has also been getting a lot of reports, according to Bigfoot Society, of hell, that's kind of long there. Maybe we'll pass on that, save that for another one. But look, this guy had moved to, or they were on their way to Medford, call it Dreadford, from Idaho. So let's try this one. This one seems a little shorter there. So let's try this one. Klamath Falls, Oregon. Shout out to the homie Grantavius Maximus. And it says late 1980s. So hell of a throwback. There was a Christian revival headed by Jeff Fenholt, a born-again ex-heavy metal singer of Black Sabbath. Interesting. Post-Dio Obscure years. At the fairgrounds of Klamath Falls, Oregon in the late 1980s, a high school buddy and I had left the scene early as it was uncanny and scary, like a something wicked this way comes type of feel, and headed home in his truck along the south side bypass. Just as we were passing the Air Force Base heading south, we came across a snarling wolf-like creature. We haven't heard, we're starting to hear more dogman, wolf, werewolf type stuff out of Oregon. So this is interesting. At 60 miles per hour. Yikes. That would freak me out. After a frozen moment of the scariest face I have ever seen in the lights, a thud in a real time brought us back to our senses, and we pulled over. Still writhing, is that what it says? Writhing in pain in the middle of the road, what had been eating a big pile of guts looked like a giant wolf that had a queer human-like features. The hell does that mean? What do they mean by queer? Anyone? It's not. Oh. It had to have been 6 to 7 feet long at least, but no one was getting close as terror and fear of a violent death kept us at bay. Another truck sped by and finished it off, but sped off. We did examine it close as we dared, a few feet away, and it was still a human-like, mostly huge wolf-like creature. Even when the initial terror let go of us and we could be a bit more rational, we got the hell out of a few minutes later. So we got the hell out of a few minutes later. I don't know if they were missing something there, because it all seemed tied to that revival. Huh? Does he mean that minister dude? And I must say, for at least a year, I thought that thing was going to jump out of a bush and eat me. Ugh. So he thinks that maybe the creature was tied to the Christian revival headed by Jeff Fendholt, a born-again ex-heavy metal singer of Black Sabbath. That is a trip. Anyway, so some weird other cryptid action other than Bigfoot for you there. And yeah, let's go ahead and wrap this baby up. So watch, stay tuned, because there's going to be a part 2 to this, since we mentioned the doc's experience, Dr. Matthew Johnson. And 1 second. So yeah, I was talking about his, and maybe we could find a report of that where it talks about the portal opening, those little Ewok type creatures coming out of it, the red eyes, and whether Adam Davies was there and who else was. We'll try to dive a little deep into it, because it's going to lead me to some other cases we have talked about of the, what was it? The Kentucky Hot Goblins, or they call them the Kentucky Goblins. What's the name of the place? And I have a video actually pulled up here. Where'd it go? Let's see, maybe someone in the chat knows. Hopkinsville. There we go. Got it. Remember that. The Hopkinsville Goblin. So when did that happen? I think it was in the 50s or something like that, or 60s, and we'll get into all that. A year previous to that, in Caracas, Venezuela, there was also a similar case, and I believe both of these may have reported UFOs with them. They came off of UFOs, but I don't know. These creatures were described as like little goblins, but I don't know. Did they have hair? I don't know if I remember describing them having hair, but some of them were described as like almost, how would you say? Let's see if we could pull this up. Kentucky Goblins. Here we go. Can y'all see that? Let's see. There it is. That's off of Reddit there. Yeah, it seems more maybe a gray, alien gray type. But it's got some pretty gnarly ears there. But anyway, it made me think of this case for some reason. And we're going to try and see if whether or not there might be some connection. So, Dr. Johnson's, there goes my eraser. Dr. Johnson's case and the Hopkinsville and then the Caracas case also. So, we'll be bringing that up on the next one. And yeah, let's head on out of here. What's up, brother? Gave brother a little hand here. We'll give you a view of Babylon in real time here. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's looking a little hazy out there. Yeah, I want to thank everybody for coming through and showing your support, hanging out a bit. I'm going to wish everybody a good weekend. And we'll probably be back on this weekend. Who knows, depending on how things roll. Let's see. PNW says, everyone have a good night. I'm probably going to lose connection. I'm in the mountains. Yeah, you be safe. And keep an eye out for Squatch, of course. Y'all check out PNW Rush. Yeah, he does have a channel. A lot of you have channels up in here. SNX Radio, cheers to you. Glad you made it in. Mad Paximus, what up, brother? There's Geralt. Where's Chiro Sounds? Yeah, going through the chat here. Again, everyone, thank you for hanging out. And yeah, we'll see. We're going to continue this. I'm telling you, there's just some, I don't know why. Something's got me thinking with these little, if the doc did see those little Ewok type creatures, could those little creatures be related to the Hopkinsville and the Venezuelan case? So, and I'm ready to rock here. I got these different articles, some different sources we will bring up. And so hopefully you'll join us next time. And much love to you all from Sky's the Limit Smoke Shop here. Yeah. Who else? Anyone else rocking later? I know usually Midwest Night Watchers in the chat, they've been going on Fridays. So later tonight, maybe once I get off of work, so around 7, 8 o'clock. I know they've been going live. So, all right, y'all, we're out of here. Let's get our outro lined up. Where are you, outro? Y'all be safe. Take care, bro. Yeah. We out.